You've seen them everywhere, on movie stars, rock legends, probably sitting on the dashboard of your own car. They are the definition of cool. But the story behind these sunglasses? Oh, it's so much more than fashion. It's a story about a brand on the absolute verge of collapse, and a military desperate for a public relations miracle. Let's get into it. So, when you see Tom Cruise as Maverick in Top Gun, rocking those Ray-Ban Aviators, it's easy to just think, cool accessory. But that's not even close to the whole story. Those sunglasses were really just the visible tip of a massive iceberg involving a failing company, a wild Hollywood gamble, and, believe it or not, the United States military. I mean, it sounds like a pitch for a movie, right? But it's exactly what went down. This is one of those amazing stories about how marketing, movies, and the military can collide. And it all revolves around a simple pair of sunglasses. Okay, so to really understand the comeback, we have to rewind the clock to the early 1980s. Ray-Ban was not the icon we think of today. Actually, the brand was in serious trouble, fading out of style, and fast. You know, the Aviator had already lived a wild life. It was born out of pure necessity for military pilots. Then it became the symbol of American strength, thanks to General MacArthur, and then it got co-opted by the counterculture as a sign of rebellion. But then, disco and punk happened, and suddenly that classic clean-cut look just seemed old. It didn't fit the vibe anymore, and sales completely fell off a cliff. And let's put a hard number on that. In 1981, Ray-Ban sold just 18,000 pairs of their other famous style, the Wayfarer. That's it, 18,000 pairs in a whole year. Things were so bad, the company was actually thinking about discontinuing the line entirely. They were right on the brink. So, staring down potential disaster, Ray-Ban decided to do something radical. They threw out the old playbook and turned to Hollywood, betting on a new strategy that would change absolutely everything for them. Yeah, instead of pouring money into the usual magazine ads, they made a huge bet on product placement. The idea was pretty revolutionary for the time. Stop trying to tell people what's cool, and instead, just put your product on the people who already are cool, the biggest movie stars in the world. And get this, the price tag for this massive gamble? Shockingly small. For just $50,000 a year, Ray-Ban got their sunglasses into over 60 movies and TV shows. It was a huge risk, but man, was it about to pay off. And this is where it gets just wild. We call this the Tom Cruise effect. In 1983, he wears Wayfarers in risky business. Sales don't just go up a little, they explode by 2,000%. From 18,000 pairs to 360,000. Then, just 3 years later, he puts on the Aviators for Top Gun, and boom, sales for that model jump another 40%. The brand wasn't just saved, it was reborn. But here's the twist. Ray-Ban wasn't the only organization that needed a big win. There was another, much more powerful player in this story, and their agenda went way beyond selling sunglasses. I'm talking about the Pentagon. You have to remember what the country was like after the Vietnam War. The military's reputation was just in the gutter. Public perception was terrible. Recruitment was a huge problem. They desperately needed to change the narrative and make serving in the military seem heroic and exciting again. And this desperation led to what people now call the military entertainment complex. It's basically a simple deal. Hollywood gets to use billion-dollar aircraft carriers and fighter jets for pennies on the dollar, and in return, the Pentagon gets the greatest recruitment ad ever made. The whole process is actually pretty straightforward. A studio sends over a script, the Pentagon reads it to make sure the military looks good. If they like what they see, the filmmakers get the keys to the kingdom. For Top Gun, the production paid just $1.8 million to use aircraft carriers, a couple dozen fighter jets, and real pilots. The actual value of that access is, well, it's pretty much priceless. And they didn't just hand over the hardware, they had script notes. Oh yeah. For instance, the Navy looked at the script and asked for a key change. They wanted Goose's death to be caused by an ejection malfunction, not a mid-air collision. Why? Well, a collision might suggest pilot error. It's a subtle change, but one that protects their image in a big way. So the stage is set. You've got a brand that's suddenly the coolest thing on the planet and a military getting a major image overhaul, all thanks to one blockbuster movie. And the results for everyone were just staggering. In the year right after Top Gun came out, the armed forces saw a massive 20,000-person boost in new recruits. And no surprise, the Navy got the biggest chunk of that, with enlistment jumping by 16,000 people. This movie didn't just sell sunglasses and popcorn, it sold careers in the military. The connection was just undeniable. I mean, one recruiter at the time estimated that a whopping 90% of their applicants for naval aviation said they'd seen the movie. 90%! It became a direct pipeline from the movie theater to the recruitment office. And the Navy was not shy about this. They knew exactly what was happening, and they leaned into it hard. Recruiters literally set up tables and booths right in the lobbies of movie theaters, ready to sign people up the second they walked out, buzzing with adrenaline from watching Maverick and Iceman. But the story doesn't just end with a Hollywood sunset. That incredible success for both Ray-Ban and the military created a much more complicated legacy, and it raised some tough questions people are still debating to this day. For Ray-Ban, that insane, explosive growth created immense pressure to keep the numbers going up. And by the mid-90s, things got ugly. Its parent company, Bausch Shalom, got nailed by the SEC in a huge accounting scandal. They'd been faking sales figures to meet those aggressive targets, overstating their income by more than $17 million. The perfect comeback story had a pretty dark side. And that cozy partnership between the military and Hollywood, well, that also started getting a lot more scrutiny. Critics began arguing that the Pentagon's script approval is basically a form of censorship, letting them whitewash history. And then there's the whole question of using taxpayer-funded equipment to create what some people call pro-military propaganda, films that can glamorize the harsh realities of war for the exact young people they want to recruit. So what are these sunglasses really? An icon of cool? Absolutely. A brilliant business masterstroke? No question. A propaganda tool? Well, the truth is, they're probably all three at the same time. It just goes to show you, sometimes the simplest objects have the most complicated stories.